It's wild to see a first-round pick like Forbes waived this early. He was picked 16th overall just last year. Really makes you wonder what's happening over there in Washington.
Yeah, the Commanders are definitely in a shakeup phase.
Oh, for sure.
Seems like this new regime wants to build things their own way. They've been letting go of a bunch of players brought in by the previous administration, and Forbes is just one of them.
It's a pretty bold move. Letting go of someone with Forbes draft status is a statement. Makes me wonder if his rookie season had anything to do with it.
It's likely a mix of
I
things.
was going to say, there's got to be more to it than just cleaning house, right?
He definitely struggled last season. Adapting to the NFL is tough, and he didn't quite find his footing. That probably played a role in their decision.
He didn't exactly set the league on fire with his stats, but then the Rams picked him up off waivers. That tells me they see some potential there, maybe something the Commanders missed.
It'll be interesting to see how the Rams handle him.
Now,
McVay already said that Forbes won't be playing right away. They're going to give him some time to get comfortable, learn the system. Seems smart to me.
I agree. It's more of a long-term play,
Yeah.
focusing on development rather than throwing him in the deep end. I
Right.
think that's the right approach for a guy who, let's be honest, seems to be struggling with confidence.
It could be just what he needs. Don't forget, Forbes admitted his struggles in Washington weren't just physical.
Oh, that's right.
He owned up to the fact that a lack of confidence played a part. Seems like the Rams understand that, and they're prioritizing his mental well-being as much as his physical development.
That's a good point. It's easy to overlook the mental side of things, especially for a young player facing the pressure cooker of the NFL.
Absolutely.
So how do they go about rebuilding that confidence? What can the Rams do to help him get back on track?
Well, first off, they're giving him space, time to learn without being thrown into the fire. He can focus on the playbook, the team culture, all that, without the pressure of having to perform immediately. The Rams coaching staff is also known for being pretty supportive. That kind of environment can be huge for a player who's going through a rough patch.
I see what you mean. Talent alone doesn't win games. How does Forbes fit into the Rams' defensive scheme? Do his strengths line up with what they're trying to do on defense?
That's the million-dollar question. On paper, it looks like it could be a really good fit. The Rams are all about man-to-man coverage.
Right.
Lets their corners be aggressive, disrupt things. And Forbes was great at press coverage in college. He's got the physicality, the instincts to jam receivers at the line.
Okay.
If he can get that confidence back and translate those skills to the NFL, he could do really well in their system.
Definitely an interesting situation.
Yeah.
This move to LA might be the fresh start Forbes needs to jumpstart his career. What challenges will he need to overcome to make it happen? What are the hurdles standing in his way?
He needs to improve his technique, that's for sure.
Okay.
He's got the physical tools, but the NFL is a whole other animal. Receivers are bigger, faster, and their routes are way more complex. Forbes needs to work on his footwork, hand-eye coordination so he can stay with them. He also needs to learn how to read offenses better, anticipate routes, make sure he's not caught out of position.
So it's about refining the raw talent,
Exactly.
turning that potential into consistent performance. And we can't forget about the mental game. How do the Rams help him overcome the self-doubt that seemed to plague him in Washington?
It's a multifaceted approach. Positive reinforcement's going to be big. Highlighting his successes, building on those small wins.
Makes sense.
They'll probably work with him on a pre-snap routine to help him get focused, get in the right mindset. But maybe most importantly, they'll create an environment where he feels supported, valued, trusted.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Sounds like the Rams are committed to giving him the tools and support he needs. But in the end, it's up to Forbes. Can he take advantage of this opportunity, learn from his mistakes, and rediscover that confidence that made him a first-round pick?
That's the big question. This is a crossroads in his career. It's his chance to change the narrative, but it's going to take serious work, dedication, and most importantly, belief in himself. It really is a fascinating look into the mental side of pro sports. Confidence, or the lack of it, can be a deciding factor for a player, especially for a cornerback where everything is about instinct and split-second decisions.
It's interesting you mentioned the psychological aspect. When Forbes did his post-game interviews last year, he always seemed so unsure of himself, almost hesitant. It was like a different person from the confident playmaker we saw in college.
Yeah, that's something you see a lot when young players come into the NFL. The game's just so much faster, the guys you're playing against are better, and the pressure's through the roof. It can be a lot to handle, and for some guys it leads to self-doubt, and they lose that confidence.
It seems like the Rams get that, and they're trying to create that supportive atmosphere for him. McVay has been pretty vocal about his belief in Forbes' talent and how they want to help him get that confidence back. Do you think that actually makes a difference?
It definitely can. Building that trust and positive reinforcement goes a long way. When a player feels valued, feels like they have support, they're more likely to take risks, try new things, and grow without being afraid to mess up.
That's a good point. It's not just about X's and O's or fixing his technique. It's about helping him develop the right mindset, the right way to approach the game mentally.
Exactly. It's about fostering that growth mindset where mistakes are seen as learning opportunities, not something to be punished for. It's about reminding him what he's good at, celebrating the wins, and building that confidence back up piece by piece.
Let's switch gears for a second and talk about the Rams' defense. They're known for playing aggressive man-to-man coverage. Does Forbes' skill set fit in with that kind of approach?
You know, on paper, it looks like a match made in heaven. He's got all the physical tools you need to excel in man coverage, the speed to keep up with most receivers, the length to break up passes, and the ball skills to, well, make plays on the ball. But there's one crucial thing you can't coach, and that's instinct.
And that instinct, that ability to read the play and react without hesitation, that's what seemed to be missing last season in Washington.
You hit the nail on the head. To play cornerback in the NFL, you need a combination of athleticism, technique, and smarts. You got to be able to guess the receiver's route, know what the quarterback's thinking, and react accordingly.
What are some of the potential roadblocks Forbes might run into as he tries to rebuild his career with the Rams?
The biggest challenge is going to be that mental hurdle. The NFL is tough, especially when you've already had a setback. It's easy to start doubting yourself, second-guessing your decisions, and hesitating. He needs to break out of that cycle and start believing in himself again.
So it all comes down to resilience, being able to bounce back from tough times, learning from his mistakes without letting them define him.
Exactly. It's about having a short memory for bad plays and focusing on the next chance to make a difference. It's about understanding that everyone makes mistakes, and what matters is how you react to them.
That's a great lesson for any athlete,
Yeah.
but especially for a young player trying to establish himself in a league as tough as the NFL. It's about embracing the challenge, the learning curve, and all the ups and downs that come with it.
And that's where the Rams coaches have a big role to play. They need to create an environment where Forbes feels like he can take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them without being judged or penalized.
It sounds like they're going all in, focusing on both his physical skills and mental game. They're giving him the tools, the support, the chance to prove himself. But ultimately, it all comes back to Forbes himself. Can he step up, live up to that potential, and become the player they think he can be?
That's the question, isn't it? The talent is there, the opportunity is there, the support system is there. It's up to Emmanuel Forbes to grab this chance and make it his own.
It's a story we've all been drawn to, a story of second chances, resilience, and chasing your dreams. It's a reminder that even in the NFL, where it's all about winning, there's still room for personal stories, personal growth, and the power of belief.
It's worth pointing out that the Rams have a good track record with players who had rough starts to their
I
careers.
was just thinking that.
They've been pretty good at finding those undervalued players, guys who maybe didn't get a fair shake somewhere else, and giving them the environment to succeed.
They've made some pretty savvy moves over the years, picking up players who were overlooked or maybe just weren't a good fit for their old teams. Think that bodes well for Forbes?
I think it shows they have a system that can help a guy like Forbes reach his potential. They seem to have a knack for figuring out why a player is struggling and then addressing those issues directly.
So it's not just about the playbook and the schemes. It's about understanding the mental side of things, too, the mental toughness it takes to overcome obstacles and perform at a high level.
It's all about creating that culture where players feel empowered, supported, and trusted. An environment where making mistakes is seen as a chance to learn and grow, not as something to be punished for.
That's a pretty cool perspective, especially in a league that's often criticized for being so focused on winning at all costs. It sounds like the Rams are taking a more well-rounded approach, recognizing that a player's well-being is key to how they perform on the field.
And that approach, that focus on creating a positive and supportive culture, I think that could be the key to unlocking what Forbes is capable of. When players feel comfortable taking risks, trying new things, and pushing their limits, they're more likely to make real progress.
It's going to be really interesting to see how Forbes responds to this opportunity, to this chance to rewrite his story and prove everyone wrong. Think he has the mental toughness to handle the pressure that comes with playing in a huge market like LA.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We've seen guys thrive in new environments, embrace the change, and use it to take their game to the next level. And we've also seen guys crumble under the pressure and just fade away.
It's a true test of character, more than just a test of talent. It comes down to who he is as a person, his resilience, his determination, his ability to learn from those setbacks and come back stronger.
It's about finding that fire within, that unwavering belief in himself that can carry him through the rough patches and keep him pushing for greatness.
His journey is a reminder that the NFL is more than just a game. It's like a reflection of life itself. Challenges, triumphs, moments of doubt, moments of glory.
It's a constant test, a proving ground where talent alone isn't enough. It's about who you are when the spotlight is on, when the pressure is at its peak, when everything's on the line.
And this is Forbes' moment, his shot to show the world what he's really made of. We'll all be watching to see if he steps up and fulfills the promise that made him a first-round draft pick.
It's a captivating story, one of redemption, resilience, and the pursuit of a dream. It reminds us that even when the odds are stacked against you, even when you face adversity, the human spirit can still prevail.
It certainly has been a fascinating deep dive. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out for Forbes in LA.